Today we will be discussing the recent UAE Supreme Court judgment that was published on the 14th of October of this year in relation to late VAT payment penalties. This video will be of interest to you if you're a UAE taxpayer. If you become aware of an error that was made in relation to your VAT return, you are obliged to report this error to the Federal Tax Authority by way of a voluntary disclosure within 20 business days of discovering this error.
Late payment penalties will apply to voluntary disclosures at the rate of between 5 and 50%, depending on the circumstances of the filing. A fixed payment penalty of 3,000 dirham will apply to your first voluntary disclosure, and 5,000 dirham to any voluntary disclosure submitted thereafter. Additional penalties will also apply, and the rate and timing of these penalties was in fact the topic of the UAE's recent Supreme Court decision. The Supreme Court's decision surprisingly overturned all previous decisions of the Tax Dispute Resolution Committee and the lower level federal courts. Previously, it had been understood that the late payment penalties should be calculated from the date of the voluntary disclosure. Instead, the Supreme Court have now made clear that late payment penalties shall be calculated from the date of the original VAT return. This is because it is considered an amendment to the original VAT return to correct an error.
Late payment penalties shall be calculated on the difference of the tax declared in the original VAT return and the voluntary disclosure. In practice, this means that if you file for a voluntary disclosure, you may be exposed to the maximum daily penalty of 1% after 1 month of the original VAT return, capped at 300% of the unpaid amount.
As judgments of the UAE Supreme Court are binding, it is now expected that the Tax Dispute Resolution Committee and lower level federal courts will implement this interpretation of the law. For this reason, it is imperative that UAE taxpayers understand the implications of this judgment and seek the necessary advice.
Here at Horizons, we are ready to assist you with your queries, challenges, and disputes which may arise as a result of the recent judgment that was discussed in this video or any other tax-related matters. Please contact us to discuss further.